What's going on, everybody? It is your boy, Chris, man. I am here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Thursday, June 27th. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter, casino host. I'm based out of Marshall, Minnesota. And I'm also proprietor of this podcast where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and who they are as a person. I got a special guest on with me today. Her name is Shanna Quinn. She used to be the Packers halftime and post-game host for the Packers radio network. She's now a program director and been an on-air personality for over 15 plus years. She's an on-air personality now for 106.1 FM and 96.3 Star Country based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Prior to that, she was over at 98.5 KISS in the Buffalo area, Niagara area. So she has a lot of radio experience talking about sports. I'm dealing with sports. She's in media, so we're gonna talk to her and get to know her, and get to know her from her occupation and out of it. So, without any further ado, I introduce to you Shanna Quinn. Good
Hi,
morning, there. How you doing?
good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You look absolutely lovely today. I just want to start off by saying that.
Thank you. We kind of match, I think, like our,
We,
our
we,
shirt
we,
colors.
we do, we do. I got my Braves hoodie on because I'm a huge Braves fan, Padres fan, and this was actually the year I bought it when they won the World Series, which is
Oh,
in so yes, absolutely. So that's pretty cool. Okay, well, how you doing this week?
I'm good. I'm good. We're a little busy up here in Wisconsin. There's a big festival going on. It's called Summerfest. It's the biggest music festival in the world. It happens over 3 weekends, and getting ready for that. We got Tyler Childers tomorrow night, Keith Urban on Saturday, because I run our country station here in Milwaukee and in Madison. So lots going on.
I love it. I love it. I want to say also thank you for coming on to my podcast. I really do appreciate it. I want to reiterate to you real quick why I wanted to have you on here before I start just peppering you with all these questions.
Yeah.
Uh, you've been an on-air personality for quite some time, and obviously me doing my background research on you a little bit. I know you're a program director over 106.1 FM and 96.3 Star Country right now, based out of Milwaukee. But I also know that's not where you started. You actually started in the Buffalo, Niagara area on 98.5 KISS,
Yeah.
and you started doing on-air personality there. I'm a sports reporter, and you also were involved in sports as you were the halftime post-game host for the Packers for their radio network. So I love getting to know people for who
Yeah.
they are and what they're about and their why into media because everybody has a story to tell. So it was a no-brainer for me to have you on here on my podcast and telling your story.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, thank you so much. You really did do your research. I appreciate that. So I started in radio back in Buffalo, like you said, at KISS 98.5, which is actually the radio station I grew up listening to.
Okay.
So when I went to college, I originally went for psychology and I took Psych 101 and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. The professor was terrible. I was like, this is not the life for me. So I went to my like guidance counselor, I guess they were called, whatever, and told them
Sure.
I got to switch majors. Like, this is terrible. And, I remember her saying, well, what do you want to do? Like, what do you like to do? And I was like, well, I like to talk to people. She was like, well, do you want to, entertain? What do you want to do? And I was like, yeah, and I was talking about how I love Kelly Ripa so much. I think she is just incredible. She is so great at what she does. And I
Sure.
said, I want to be the next Kelly Ripa. And she was like, okay, well, we don't have a major for that. But, so I switched my major to media production slash broadcasting. And I actually went with TV as my focus. And the one night I was out with some of my dorm roommates, and we went to a nightclub in Buffalo,
Okay.
and I ended up getting a job there. I was like, I need a job. So I ended up getting a job there, and I met the DJ at the bar and like he's also the big morning show DJ in Buffalo. And I
Sure.
said, hey, for school, I have to shadow someone in the industry. Can I shadow you? And he was like, for sure. So his name is Nick, and Nick brought me in to meet his co-host Janet, and Janet and I hit it off. And she was like, "Do you want an internship?" And I was like, "Radio? Yeah, okay, I'll give it a shot because I had to have an
Right,
internship as well. But this whole
right,
time I thought I was going to do TV. So I did that. And then my internship went great. I ended up getting a part-time job with the morning show. Unfortunately, because budgets happen all the time in radio, my part-time position was eliminated. But I ended up doing a weekend show because this is when weekends were completely live on every radio station. And because someone couldn't work. So I ended up doing that. And then the shift was given to me. So I kind of grew from that. It was top 40. And again, this was a station I grew up listening to. So I thought it was so freaking cool to like be on
yeah,
the station. I used to listen to it on the school bus. So I did that, and then I ended up going to Albany, New York. I made a big jump. Albany, New York is about 5 hours from Buffalo. It's across the
right.
state to the New York City, and ended up doing mornings there for a hot AC station for 5 years. And then I ended up moving out here to Milwaukee to take on an afternoon position with the country station that I'm with now. So did that, and then I was the assistant program director and music director. So did that, and then my boss's position unfortunately was eliminated as well. So then I became the program director of FM 106.1. So
Awesome. That is awesome to hear. And listen, we're going to break all that down now because
yeah,
that's amazing. That's such an amazing background to give. You went to Buffalo State University, if I'm not mistaken. What was
I went to SUNY College at Buffalo, so it's not the same thing as like the Bulls. Like you'll see like the Buffalo Bulls that are like they play football. They've got like a good football basketball. I was in the poor university.
okay?
I was in the I can't afford UB, so I'm going to go to Buffalo State College.
I totally feel that because state schools are less expensive, no question about it. I went to a state school, Kennesaw State. I'm now here in Minnesota, so we're kind of next door to each other now. Now I'm in Minnesota. So let me ask you: were there any other schools that you were considering going to other than Buffalo State?
Yeah, I really thought I was going to go to Canisius College. We were just, as you just said, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Canisius College. It's a really nice private college in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I was convinced I was going to go there until I saw the price tag. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's not going to work out.
I
So
know that.
but yeah, that's actually where I originally. It's funny too, being from Buffalo, New York. I never thought I would leave Buffalo, so I never looked at schools outside of Buffalo. Like I was always like Buffalo, born and raised. Never thought I would leave, and here we are. So
I,
those
I
are the
feel
only
that.
schools I would look like that.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, I have ties to upstate New York because my father lives there. So I'm very familiar with the Buffalo area, very familiar with upstate New York area because that's where he lives, along with my stepmom and brothers. So I go up there almost
They live in
every year.
Buffalo.
No, no, they live in upstate. So they live in Rochester. So they live about an hour 15 from Buffalo.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah,
Are they
absolutely.
fans?
They're not because my dad is actually originally from Chicago, so he's a Bears fan. My stepmother's originally from Pittsburgh, so she's a Steelers fan. So yeah, so they've been over there for about 2 decades now. I try to make a trip up there every single year. But I do love going to Buffalo. I do love going there, watching some Sabres games.
Yeah.
Sabres, for those of you that will watch this, is the hockey team in town. If you don't know, Buffalo Sabres. But yes, I typically like Sabres games. I like going up there. Definitely trying some wings and going to a bar every now and then when I get
Of
a chance to go up
course.
there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Of course.
Okay. Well, let me ask you some favorite questions. I
Yeah.
got some favorite questions written down here. You just give me the 411
Okay.
of what these favorite questions are. Are you with me?
I'm with you. Let's go.
Okay, let's do it. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Oh, favorite meal that I like to cook. You know, I just made the other day and now it's like one of my new favorites. I made this like chickpea pasta with turkey sausage, and weirdly enough it had tomato sauce but also cottage cheese. I'm trying to get on the cottage cheese train because everyone talks about how good it is for you because the protein that it adds to everything. I think cottage cheese is repulsive, but this was good. It was really, really good and creamy, and I added a vegetable to it. I think spinach. I added spinach to it. So I'll say that that's my new favorite thing to cook now.
Shanna, I don't know what the hell that is, but it sounds good. I'm definitely willing to try some of that. If you could
Yeah,
like maybe send over a recipe, or if I'm ever in the Milwaukee area, please let me allow it to try that. I would live
perfect. I
there.
love
Okay,
that.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Okay, favorite concerts you've ever attended? Now you work in music, so this might be a little hard.
Yeah, that's so funny that you say that you asked that because oh, this is such a stereotypical question, typical question. I will say I'll give you like a couple that I loved. So Eric Church, I saw him in Chicago a couple of years ago and it was incredible. I'm a huge Eric Church fan. And his show recently at Summerfest that last year was really good. I saw Zach Bryan at Summerfest last year and it was an
Mm.
experience. He was so good. The crowd was amazing. But I will say the best concert I've ever been to, and again, this is going to be stereotypical. I'm a basic white girl over here loving Taylor Swift. I went to see her show not once but twice last year, the Eras tour. I went opening day of the tour because
Wow.
we didn't know when we were buying the tickets what date it was. We were like, I don't care, let's just go because Paramore was opening, and it was the only date that Paramore was opening. So I went to opening day of Taylor Swift at Glendale Stadium, where the Cardinals play. And
Absolutely.
I went to, speaking of your dad, I went to see Taylor Swift at Soldier Field.
Oh, yep. That's where the Bears play, Chicago. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay, I like
that's
that.
probably the best. Yeah.
Taylor Swift puts on pretty good shows. Those ticket prices are very, very hard to get to now for her, I should say. I did go and see her 1989, which I thought is one of her best albums she ever came out with. I believe that's the one with the Bad Love and the Wildest Dreams.
But Blank Space is on it. I think Wildest Dreams is on it. Trying to think what else is on 1989. They all just like form together. But
Is
that's like
it is it the Bad Love one on with Kendrick Lamar?
no Bad Blood is on Reputation.
Okay, so that one was good. I like that song. But Wildest Dreams, yeah, that's probably one of my favorite songs of hers. No question about it.
What's your favorite concert you've been to?
My favorite. Wow. You know, my favorite concert probably is a mixture of two. Lil Wayne versus Drake was amazing. You have two of the big at that time, they were both still rising up pretty good. Their music concert was outside. We knew every song. They were going back and forth. They were on stage together. They had their solo acts. It was so good. Probably the best I would say only show that could possibly beat that to me is the Watch the Throne. I was a huge Jay-Z and Kanye West fan when that album came out. I knew every word. I was bopping my head through it. I was singing it. It was like two goats going at it. Musically, they're just two gifted people. I really love it. But I wanted to tell you, I went to an Eric Church concert, and if anybody has ever went to an Eric Church concert, he always brings out an alcohol bottle with him.
Yes.
Every show, he brings an alcohol bottle out with him. He starts singing songs. I actually did his concert for security.
Oh,
I was security. So I did his concert, and at my particular concert, which was in Atlanta, Georgia at the time, he asked the crowd, "Do you want me to go more?" And of course, the crowd starts roaring and says, "Yeah, yeah," because these artists have to get out of the building at a certain time.
he
You
doesn't
know,
care. He does not care.
no, he does not. He said, "F it, I will pay the fine," and
Yep.
he went on for a whole nother hour
Yeah.
with music, and it was incredible. I was like, I've never seen anything like this. So he
How did
puts on.
you feel about that though? Like working it? Were you like, oh man, I got to work another hour? Or were you like, I don't care, this is awesome?
To be honest with you, if I was in a worse position than what I was in, I was by the stage. So I was at the barricade where people couldn't come past. And yeah, it was kind of loud because the speakers are there,
Yeah.
but I had my earplugs on and it was just great listening to some music that I never heard of.
Yeah.
I was seeing a free show and getting paid. So up close and personal. Now, if I was outside, I probably would be like, let's hurry up and get this damn show over with. If I was outside in the parking lot. Right.
Yeah.
So I think it was dependent on the position that I had, but I was right by the barricade, so I was good.
He's so good. He's one of my all-time favorites. I'm so glad you got to experience that.
Absolutely. Now I'm a sports person just like yourself. So this next question is a two-parter. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person?
Oh, okay. So That's interesting that you say that. So I love football. Football is my number one love when it comes to sports. I was born and raised a Bills fan, being here and working with the Packers, definitely a big football fan. I love watching football from home. I not that and I love going to football games, but I would rather watch it from home, a football
Yep,
game.
me too.
Yeah, it's just you're comfy, you're eating snacks, you're just,
Right.
I love tailgating though. But when it comes to going to a sporting event, I was not a basketball fan before I moved to Milwaukee. I didn't know anything about NBA. The only basketball I knew were like Syracuse, like the Orange. But when I
Sure.
was here, and I take full credit for the Bucks winning the championship because they were not great before Giannis. Well, it's actually because Giannis came here, but Giannis and I came here almost the same time. So
Hmm.
I will say I love going to basketball games. I'm all in. I love the Bucks. I think Giannis is such a magical human, both on and off the court. The championship team that they had was just stacked with so many like fun and amazing players. So yeah, I will say going to basketball games, definitely my favorite.
Definitely on my bucket list, Shannon, to get out there to watch a Packers game and also watch a Bucks game. I'm trying to do that this year, particularly.
Yeah.
If I'm in Milwaukee, I would definitely hit you up because I need some recommendations. I need some stuff.
Yeah.
To do. I've never been to Milwaukee before.
Yeah, so where the Bucks Arena is, it's called it's called the Fiserv Forum, but the Fiserv Forum is in the Deer District, which is
Okay.
really cool. And there's different like restaurants, there's bars, there's fun things to do like surrounding the stadium. So it's a really great area to go to a game that like it's not just going to the arena, you can kind of bop around too. And then
Okay.
Lambeau is just, I mean, Lambeau is the cream of the crop when it comes
It
to
is.
sports in general, not even just football. So, and the funny thing is with Lambeau, it's kind of like the Bills Stadium. It's just in the middle of a neighborhood almost. Like it's not like a super commercially area. The tailgating's awesome. The people are so nice, but you have to, yeah, you have to go to Lambeau for sure.
Okay. Definitely on the bucket list for sure. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
That I've ever traveled to. I love London a lot. I've been a few
Mm.
times. I went a couple times when I was younger, and I went a few years ago. I just love the historic aspects of everything with it, the buildings, the all of it. So that's my number one.
I love it. Okay. That's also on my bucket list to go to London.
Got to go to an
Last
NFL game there. Kill two birds with one stone.
You know what? Hello, I'm with that. I'm with that. Okay, now you having my mind just going. I love it. Okay, favorite restaurant you've ever ate at?
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Now,
there.
no,
What were you gonna say?
oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. It was a delay. Go ahead.
There was, oh gosh, there's so many great restaurants. I will say one of my favorite restaurants I've ever been to here in Milwaukee. There's a place called Dorsia, and it's a pasta place kind of near us, but you can get flights of pasta. So you can get smaller portions of like four different pastas and just eat those. Because sometimes you go to a restaurant, you're like, oh, I really want this, but I also really want this. You can get
Yes.
like they bring out like almost like a wood kind of plank-ish kind of thing. I don't know what to call it. And you can get all different ones on there and try it.
Okay. Now, I had somebody on here from Milwaukee who is a meteorologist. You may know her. Her name is Lindsay Slater.
Oh
So she's a meteorologist. So she came on my podcast as well. And there was this restaurant that I saw in Milwaukee that she said was one of her favorites, which is right by the pier. It's right by a pier, and it's like a restaurant where they serve seafood. They specialize in like seafood stuff.
yeah. Is it Harbor?
Um, yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
That's what
Harbor
it is.
is good.
Okay. So I had that on my bucket list for sure because when she described it and I looked it up, it was great. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But now I got this Dorsia because I'm really into pasta too.
Oh yeah, it's so good. The pesto pasta is my all-time favorite, but there's like lobster mac and cheese. There's one
Mm.
with duck in it. Like they're all different. Then they have like your normal like Alfredo and stuff like that, but it's so good.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. All right. I love that. Let's talk about your day to day, right? You being a program director of the radio station, being in radio, I would think your day is never the same. Every day is absolutely different. Just like
Yeah.
with me as a journalist, I'm covering something different almost every day. Talk about your day to day. Talk about your process of how you go through things with your schedule.
It's funny, you took the words right out of my mouth that every day is different. And, for instance, today I worked from home a little bit this morning and then just shooting off emails with telling our on-air personalities like what's going on this week, what contesting we have going on. A reminder that Summerfest is going on this week, so that's on everyone's minds. And then I went to the Wisconsin Humane Society. I go there every Thursday for something we call Flu Thursdays, where it's all about dogs and cats that need homes. And I post about them on social media, like my Instagram story right now. Yeah, just like filled with dogs and cats. I did that. And then obviously talking to you, but like, yeah, look at my schedule today. Like it's different every day. Like Tuesdays, I have meetings every day, but every day I have 3 radio shows that I do, one in Milwaukee, one in Memphis in Wisconsin, and then one for for a lack of a better term, it's almost like a syndicated show that gets sent out to all different radio stations and they pick up my show, and it's on in like Waco, Texas, and a bunch of different like cities, Davenport, Iowa. It's all over. So I do that every day. I do my 3 radio shows, always posting on social media. Like it's just kind of all over the place, like you said. And people always think, well, you work 3 to 7, which is like my show. I'm like, no, I work like 9 a.m. Like I'm working at, yeah, some days I'm starting at 7:30 to try to get stuff done. So yeah, kind of all over the place with what I do.
If someone were to come up to you, Shanna, and say, hey, I want to do what you do. Now, obviously, you can't slide into a program director, but if they want to be an on-air personality, maybe an intern or a recent graduate or somebody that may be a little bit more seasoned like myself that wants to, make a switch, what would you say to them? What kind of advice would you give to them about being an on-air personality and what it takes?
Yeah, I think it just takes practice, really. I remember I had someone who had told me, when I did a break, like it sounded very scripted. And to, practice, not even just being on the air, just like sit and pretend like you're on the air and that you're talking to your mom, your best friend, your significant other. Like, how would you talk to them about what you're going to talk about on the air? You're going to be more conversationally, all that. So definitely, kind of practice makes perfect, and you're not going to be perfect at first, and that's okay. It's just doing it over and over, seeing what works for you, what seems more comfortable for you. That's what I would tell someone is just, don't get frustrated in the beginning. You're going to suck in the beginning. Like I've heard my air checks from when I was starting. Oh my, embarrassing. So that's what happens when you really start anything. It's just, don't put too much pressure on yourself and have fun with it and try it out.
I love that. Let's talk about mental health. Mental health and work-life balance, right? Mental health has become very important, especially in the recent years. Obviously, me being a journalist, I hear it a lot. The words you hear from journalists is burnout, overworked, underpaid. We're both in the media space, but I do mine in writing and taking photos, and you do yours on the radio. But how um, how do you handle having good mental health and not being burnt out, and also your work-life balance? You're obviously somebody that's a very friendly personality. I certainly wouldn't mind being around you at all. But I know you have friends there, family, significant other as well. It's hard to balance all these things and try to be a hierarchy position as well. So how do you balance that work-life balance and also keep your mental health strong?
I'm so glad you brought that up too, because that is a really important aspect of this job. The burnout, like you said, I think you nailed it with that you're juggling so much and sometimes you feel like it's not enough. And I go through those waves all the time, and luckily for me, like I found a really great therapist within the last couple of years that sometimes I'll just shoot her a text and be like, Laura, I need you. And she's amazing, but it's the ebbs and flows of it all. Every job is stressful for the most part, but with this, it's kind of that heightened, like, am I doing enough? And you're seeing people on social media that they seem to have so much going on. Like, how do they do it all? And you're racking your brain to try to keep up with the Joneses kind of thing, But I would say, like you said, you have to prioritize like what is the best thing for you. So a lot of times, like I'll wake up in the morning. It sounds so dumb. I'll take my dog for a walk and not check my phone. Like I will not check. Like I'll check to see if someone called or texted me if it's an emergency, but I won't check my email. I won't check social media. I'll stay away from that. And I think that that's a really big thing too, that people in this industry, we're told to be on social media, know what's going on, but sometimes
Yeah.
that overloads, you know? So kind of putting a set it like, you know, okay, after 8 o'clock, I'm not going to look at social media. I'm going to put my phone away and I'm going to read a book or I'm going to watch TV, whatever it is. You know, setting those boundaries, I think is really important, finding what works for you. If there's, you know, a workout that you like to do. And to remember too, with social media, that like that person might look like they're doing really great in their career and they've got it all together, but they've got their own issues too. That's the crappy thing about social media is everything looks so amazing. And
Right.
it's like, no, that person's also struggling. That person's struggling with this and that and whatnot. So I think keeping an open mind and giving yourself grace too, you know, that it's okay to not have everything together all the time. You know, it's okay to not be perfect. Like I've gotten into that kind of mindset too as I've gotten older. Like it's okay to not say the most perfect thing all the time or post the most
Right.
picture or, you know, look the part all the time. You know, like giving yourself that time for yourself, I think is very important.
Yeah, perception is not reality, not all the time, right? You know, people sometimes paint a picture that is really not there, but you know, it's putting on the front.
Yeah,
Sometimes you just don't want people to know the real, and I certainly understand that. I love your honesty about therapy. I appreciate that because
of course.
it's really good to be able to have somebody to go to and talk to outside of family and loved ones, because family and loved ones sometimes cater to you, but sometimes family and loved ones make it seem like the world is crashing down and it's like over, right? Like
Yeah.
they over exaggerate a little bit. So it's cool to go to somebody neutral that's going to have an honest opinion about things that you're going through.
Yeah. Uh-oh, are you frozen? Oh no.
Okay, back. I see you. Okay, so yeah, it's a question worth asking. It's a question that I get a lot with the high schoolers and college kids that I coach. Like, how is the industry? I love telling them about the A side. Covering stories, talking to people is something that I love to do. I don't just go to games. I don't just do that. I write all different kind of articles. But there's a B side too, right? They think that, like you said, they think you only work 3 to 7 because that's when they hear your voice.
Yeah.
But they don't know what you do behind the scenes, and they don't know what you do after that to prepare for that 3 to 7 on a weekly basis. So that's why that question is worth asking. But I always love asking radio personalities this next question, and that is, how did you find your voice? Sometimes it's very hard to find your voice in this industry because you're trying to mimic or you're trying to emulate somebody that you've heard on the radio, right? How did you find Shanna's voice to be able to be your own and stick out?
You know, that this is such a lame answer, but I think just being yourself. I mean, I remember when I was on the morning show in Albany, so when I was leaving, I got the nicest message from this woman just being like, what I love about you is that you're self-deprecating. You aren't like trying to be someone you're not. And like I am, I'm very self-deprecating, but like in a funny, like lighthearted kind of way, you know, like
Sure.
I'm call myself a Muppet, you know, like things like that. And I think just being yourself and being true to who you are, number one, there's only one of you, right? And number two, if you try to be someone you are not, people are going to either A, see through it, or B, they're going to be like, something's off here and I don't relate with this person. You know, I think that I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Elvis Duran show.
Mm-mm.
So he's a
I
syndicated.
mean, I heard about it, but I haven't listened to it.
Okay, so he's a syndicated top 40 morning show within the iHeartMedia company. And what's really great about his show is that all of the people on his show are all so different that you will find someone that you relate to. There's a girl on there, her name is Gandhi, and she is just funny. She's a hot mess. She is unapologetically her. And I think that that is so refreshing. Like we were talking about earlier with social media, all these like And listen, I'm not knocking on these beautiful girls on Instagram. Like you do you, but to me, it's not relatable to be like hot on social media. To me, it's relatable to just be yourself and accept and admit your faults and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
I think that that's my number one thing is just be yourself.
I love that. On here with Shanna Quinn, radio personality, program director based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on my Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. We've came to the point now that we're going to do a little bit of this or that. It's something that I do with all my guests where I throw out two things. Okay. You get to choose one or the other. Okay. Are you with me?
Yes. Ready.
All right. Here we go. All right. Now, here we go. This first question is pivotal. Okay. Popeyes or KFC?
Oh, no. I have fond memories of going to KFC with my mom when I was younger, so I'm gonna go KFC. I think I've only had Popeyes like once ever, so I'm gonna go KFC. Yeah.
So I will forgive you for that answer. I will forgive you for that because you said you only had Popeyes once. You need somebody to show you what Popeyes is all about. So no question, like I said, you keep eating at the restaurants you've been eating at, but when I touch down there, Popeyes. Okay? Deal. All right, here we go. Do you like chicken wings?
Should say yes because I'm from Buffalo and I get cravings for chicken wings, but they're not like my most favorite food ever. But
I totally.
They're good. I like crispy flat wings though. If I am going to have wings, they have to be crispy. They have to be flat. I don't like when they're like super wet. When there's too much sauce on them. Some people get like them extra wet. I'm like, no, I don't like that. But I like them. I don't love them.
Okay, so you're from Buffalo, so I know you like the buffalo sauce more than likely. I know you probably do like that. Yes. But I'm going to give you two other sauces, barbecue and lemon pepper. Which one do you pick?
Barbecue.
Okay, now you said you like your wings dry. Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
I would rather have boneless, which again makes me a really bad Buffalonian, but yeah. That's
okay. I'm with you on that. You're in my good graces again, so that's okay. I like boneless wings as well, so I'm with you. Okay.
Nasty.
You are right. And do you eat boneless wings with a fork? Do you like to dip it into the sauce? Do you eat it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I do too. Okay.
Yeah. Look at us.
So this next one, or next four, I should say, questions are concerts you rather attend. Okay. So here we go. Which concert would you rather attend? Morgan Wallen or Luke Combs?
Morgan Wallen.
Okay. I like that. Which concert would you rather attend? Casey Musgraves or Carrie Underwood?
Oh, Casey Musgraves has such an incredible voice and she's so talented, but I think a Carrie Underwood show is more fun. So I'm going to go Carrie Underwood.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Which concert would you rather attend? Lady A or Zach Brown Band?
Oh, I just went to go see Zach Brown Band for the first time the other day and I had such an amazing time. It was such a blast. So I'm going to go. And Lady A, again, it's like Casey Musgraves. And Hillary Scott has the most beautiful voice, but I'm going to go Zach.
She does. Yeah. I love both of them. I love all six artists I've just mentioned. Yeah. Here we go. Which concert would you rather attend? Would you rather attend Jason Aldean or Luke Bryan?
Oh, Luke Bryan. Luke Bryan is the most fun show you will ever go to. It is hit after hit after hit. And Luke Bryan, who you see on American Idol and all that, and you see on social media, that is who Luke Bryan is. Every time I hang out with him, just the nicest, most fun person. Luke Bryan. Final answer.
Oh, no question. No question about that. My first ever country concert, as I told you, I did security in the past. My first concert was him, Aldean, Brantley Gilbert, and it was some other artist. It was like a super concert in Georgia. They had it at UGA Stadium, which is Sanford Stadium, where the Bulldogs play. Luke Bryan, and this is a story I've rarely ever told, but Luke Bryan comes riding on a golf cart. I'm at a spot in security where there's a person that's trying to come onto the field. So I'm on field security. You can't come onto the field unless you have a field ticket. Well, Luke Bryan and his people come riding on the cart. Aaron Murray, if you're a sports person, Aaron Murray was the UGA quarterback at that time. So it was many years ago. Okay. He was a quarterback. And Aaron Murray wanted to get on the field, but he couldn't. He didn't have a field ticket. So they were stopping him, and they told me, and I said, hey, we can't stop you. He comes riding around on his cart, Luke Bryan, and says he's with me. and Aaron Murray comes onto the field, hops onto the cart, and they go into the back.
Ah,
That was crazy. I was like, wow, okay.
yeah, what are
That's
the
pretty
odds? Oh my
right.
God.
What are the odds? What are the odds of that?
That's very cool though. What a concert. Yeah, I think I've heard of him doing that before. I wonder, I think maybe Cole Swindell is from Georgia, so maybe he was on it. I don't know, but
He might.
that's a great concert. Brantley
That
Gilbert's a
is.
very nice man too.
Yes, indeed. More of the this or that. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Bowling. I don't think I've ever played badminton.
Oh wow. Are you a good bowler?
No, but I like to hang out and bowl and have a pitcher of beer and hang out.
I know that's right. I
Yeah,
know that. I love that. Okay, which sport would you rather watch on TV? Baseball or hockey?
hockey, 100%. Baseball is so boring to watch on TV. Like I would much rather be at a baseball game.
You say you must rather be at a baseball game than watch it on TV. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
No question. Okay. Do you like desserts?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm giving you 4 categories. You have to choose one of these you'll never eat again. So here we go. First one is ice cream. The second one is cookies. The third one is candy. The fourth one is cake. Which one are you getting rid of?
I almost stopped you right away. I would eliminate ice cream right away. I'm not a big ice cream gal. Yeah, no,
Oh,
I've never been a big ice cream gal. Like I would much rather have cookies, cake, candy, like chewy candy. Like I love like gummy candy. So yeah, ice cream's got to go.
I'm with you on the gummy candy. I'm
Yeah.
with you on that. I probably would have eliminated cake, but I do love red velvet cake. That's my favorite. So
Okay,
I do love that. Okay, I got you on that. Do you like potato chips?
I do.
Okay, same process. Name 4 brands. You got to get rid of one.
Okay.
Here we go. Lay's is the first one.
Okay.
Doritos is the second one.
Okay.
Ruffles is the third one. Pringles is the last one. Which one are you getting rid of?
Mm, I'm gonna go with Ruffles. No. Sorry, Pringles. I'm gonna go with Pringles. Pringles can get
We,
the they
girl,
get
we was about to end the interview when you said that.
Ruffles are my number one. I would not get rid of Ruffles. Like the Ruffles, like they're like the sour cream and cheddar Ruffles are the best chips ever.
Oh my God, you just won my heart. You are my best now. You have. Well, I'm being dead. I was about to say dead ass, but I'm
What's
being
your
dead
favorite?
serious. Dead serious. That is my favorite chip of all time. The sour cream and cheddar Ruffles. A close number 2 is just the sour cream. The sour cream.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow. Look at us in sync like this. I like that. That's
Love
amazing.
it. Love it.
Okay. Last of the this or that. Okay. Which genre would you rather speak about on the radio? Would you rather talk about sports or music?
I love sports. I love. But I think I would rather talk music just because with sports, what I've come to realize are like all the stats and everything like that. Like I'm not very into that. I'm into watching it, having fun, getting to know the players, that kind of stuff. I'm
Mhm.
more into that. And actually watching the game, obviously, rather than like how many yards did Jordan Love throw for in the past 4 games? Like I don't care. He won the game and that's great. Jordan Love is it's going to be great for them. But I would have to say music because I'm also, working in country radio. I'm also well versed in other genres as well because I listen to all different genres. Like I'm a big like alternative gal. I, came up in pop music. So I think I'd rather do, yeah, music.
I love it. I do.
Yeah.
This is a bonus question I just thought of, and it's a bonus sports question. I know you said that you bleed Buffalo, I should say, but you root for the Packers and the Bills.
Yeah.
Your Buffalo Bills have taken a hard hit this season, losing both of their starting receivers. They got Keon Coleman as the guy that could possibly supplant both of those receivers. But what is your expectations for the Buffalo Bills this year? Do you think that they can possibly win the division again?
I think that they can. I think that, really Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be back for the Jets. Great, good. I don't think he's the same Aaron Rodgers, so I'm not super concerned about it. The Dolphins are very good. Obviously, they have an absolutely stacked team. They just got Jordan Poyer from us as well, which just
Yeah, they did.
really makes me sad. But and I think Tua seems like a really good person. I just think that he's a little inconsistent when it comes to leading his team to victories.
That's
Um,
fair.
I think that Josh Allen is just an incredible athlete altogether. Keon, I think, is just really fun. So I'm excited to see those two together. I'm also interested to see, you talked about how Gabe Davis is gone now and Stephon
Stephon
Diggs.
Diggs.
Yep, Stephon Diggs is gone now. So with Stephon Diggs leaving, him and Josh were so close previously, but then it got to be a little bit awkward, a lot of drama, it seems like on Twitter and all that. So I'm excited to see how the locker room is going to be without that tension of what Stephon Diggs are we going to get today.
Right.
So I have high expectations. I also keep thinking too, how much longer can they go with this team without getting to a Super Bowl? Because, Josh Allen is not a cheap player to have, and you're going to keep bleeding out, your salary cap on this amazing player who deserves the money. But we also need to get past those dang Chiefs and get to a Super Bowl finally. I mean, the Bills haven't been to a Super Bowl since the 93-94 season. It's been a very long time.
Yep.
So my expectations are high, and I'm excited to see how everything goes with them.
I love it. I do. On here with Shanna Quinn, once again, radio personality based out of Milwaukee, Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. This question is about you. If you wasn't doing radio, if you wasn't in radio or in media, what other career choice would you have pursued and why?
So I'm actually starting to do a little by little. I'm doing more stuff with events. I help run events with our radio station as it is, but I actually have one of my best friends, her brother's wedding. I'm going to be doing like the day of coordinating for now. So kind of more stuff like that. I think I would do is like event, not so much picking things out for someone's wedding or event, but like, hey, you want this done? I can make it happen kind of thing. So looking into that, or I mean, honestly, I love the Wisconsin Humane Society here. I'm a big animal lover. We adopted a dog from there a couple months ago. So like working with them in their like communication / marketing, social media department would be something that I would love to do. So probably either one of those.
I could definitely see you doing something with the humane. It shows how much you love animals and dogs. No question about that. I could definitely see that for sure.
Yeah.
I love asking radio personalities this question as well. Give me your top 4 interviews of people that you've had on the radio that you really enjoyed, or if it doesn't have like a real enjoyable interview, give me something that you thought was very surprising to you. Like, I don't know if you are familiar with the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember when Birdman went on there? Do you remember when Birdman?
I do. I've seen like the clips on Instagram. They're actually on our hip hop station here in Milwaukee. The Breakfast Club is an iHeart
Yep.
media, so they're on V100 here. So I'm familiar with them. Charlemagne, his books are fantastic, by the way. If you haven't, have you read his book?
I have not read his book, but I do plan on reading it one of these days. I've heard great things about it.
It's very good. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's very, very good. But I'm familiar with the interview, but I don't remember a ton about it. Why?
Okay, so I want to know: have you ever had like like you can give me some top interviews, but have you ever had an episode where somebody came on here, said what they said to you, and then walked out? That's what Birdman did, all in the span of like 5 minutes.
I don't think I've ever had someone come on and then walk out per se. We did have an awkward interview with the morning show that I had in Albany with Timbaland. So he called in. I can't remember what he was promoting, but he called in for the interview. And it sounded like he was barely on the line. Like we were like, hey, it's kind of hard to hear you. And he was like, oh, I'm at the gym. And we're like, okay, cool. Like, so what are you doing? He's like, walking on the treadmill. We're like, oh, okay. And like really like one word answers that we got to the point. We had like 15 minutes with him. I think we maybe got 5 minutes into it. We're like, all right, we're gonna let you go. And like we hung up on him because we were just like, this is so awkward. Like, what is going on? Like,
Right.
if you don't want to do interviews, then don't do interviews. It was just very, very weird. So that was probably the weirdest interview I've ever had. The best interviews, though, you and I were talking earlier about mental health and everything. I had a really great interview with Kelsey Ballerini where we talked about that, and she talked about her therapy and all that. And she was fantastic. She was a really, really good interview. So, that one probably sticks out in my mind the most. One that was super memorable for me, just as a human, was we interviewed Tony Danza.
Wow. Meet the
Yeah,
boss.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And I grew up watching Who's the Boss, and I had such a crush on him. Like, he was like my first crush, which is super creepy because I was very young, but I just thought he was like the best. And when we interviewed him, he said my name so many times during the interview. Well, Shanna this, well, Shanna that. And I was like, oh my God, Tony Danza. And Doug Flutie too. Doug Flutie is my favorite Bills quarterback ever besides Josh Allen. And we got to interview him, and it was the same thing, like really personable, really, really nice guy.
I got you. Absolutely. And listen, I had the same crush on Alyssa Milano, so I totally understand. I totally understand.
Who didn't have a crush on Alyssa Milano? Straight
I'm
women
telling
like
you,
myself have crushes on Alyssa Milano.
the Lord have mercy for that one. Thank you, Jesus. What is some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to? We talked about advice you would give to be in this industry, but what is some advice that someone gave you that you hold on dearly to?
A friend of mine, his name is Weez. He is from Kiss 98.5 where I started. He's still there on the morning show. I remember he once said, and excuse my language, he once said, you always want to be the person that if your position is eliminated or you decide to leave to go somewhere else, that everyone looks around and goes, oh shit, what are we going to do now? Like, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying wear yourself thin, but be that person that people are like, oh my God, how are we going to function without this person being here? Like, this is someone who is really important. You never want to be that person where your position's eliminated or you're leaving and they're like, oh God, thank God.
Right.
You want to make everything as pleasant as possible with people. Obviously, you want people to push you around. I'm not that person either. But to be that person that people depend on and rely on, and you do a good job. So that's probably the best advice I've gotten from a coworker.
That is some damn good advice. No
Yeah.
question about that. I know when I work, I definitely want to be the person that makes an impact and not a person that's a liability, right? Because if you're looking around, people terminate people's jobs because it's easy to terminate, right?
Yeah.
They think that those jobs are just not as important.
Yeah.
Or you're not as important, And I always try to work at any job that you have. You want to try to stand out. You want to try to make an impact and be of importance. Those are the three things that I really have in my mind with every job that I do, especially in media, because media is so fickle sometimes, and things you can get laid off, you can get jobs and stuff like that. So I love that advice. This is now rapid fire. Rapid fire here before we wrap up. I have one more question after this rapid fire, but I'm going to throw some rapid fire stuff at you. First thing that comes to your mind, you answer it, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Favorite color?
Green.
Favorite sports movie?
Oh gosh. Favorite sport. I love The Blind Side. I know it's like controversial right now, but I like that movie.
Absolutely. Mine would be Remember the Titans. No question.
That's a really good one too. That's such a good one.
Absolutely. Favorite board game?
Man, favorite board game. It's not a board game per se, but we started playing cribbage. Like, that's really big in Wisconsin. So I'm going to go with that.
I can honestly say I've never played cribbage.
It's fun. It's fun.
Wow. Okay. All right. Cool. You're going to have to send me, I'm going to have to look up directions on that to play. Okay. Favorite card game?
Oh, we just played this the other day. There's like this Uno reverse game. Like, that's my new favorite now.
Okay. I feel you on that. I like that.
Yeah.
If you had 3 albums that you could play with no skips, what would those albums be?
Oh, gosh. Oh, probably Maren Morris. She has an album. Why am I drawing a blank on the album right now? Hero. Hero is the name of the album. Maren Morris's Hero album. Yeah, gosh. Probably there's Dirk Bentley's album. It has Living on it, and another song that I love called You Can't Hold Me Down. I believe it's called The Mountain. I love that album.
Okay.
And What else? Probably I love Taylor Swift's album Red. That's my all-time favorite Taylor Swift album. That's the one with like We Are Never Getting Back Together and 22. So those three.
Okay, I'm with you on that. If you had three people that you could take with on vacation to whatever vacation spot there is, what is the three people that you would take?
Oh, definitely my fiance. He is always a blast and he's always down for whatever. Gosh, that's so hard because um probably my best friend Alyssa because she's just a really good time. And then oh gosh, I have so many good friends that I feel bad picking like my third spot. So you know what? I'm gonna go with because no one can argue with this. She's so much fun. We've had so many good times together. My Gma, my grandma. I would bring her because she's
Oh,
a good
shout
time.
out to I like that. Shout out to grandma. That's what's up. That's what's up. I like that. Here we go.
Yeah.
Tea or juice?
Wait, what?
Tea, like tea, iced tea, or juice, like orange juice, apple juice. Which one?
Oh, I did not hear you correctly at all. I'm gonna go juice. Pineapple juice is my all-time fave.
Okay, I like that. Three more of the rapid fires. If there was a sport that you can play and dominate in, what sport would that be?
I'm not really good at playing sports. I'm very uncoordinated, if you will.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe like a food eating contest. That would be my, be my sport. I'm like a bottomless pit. So I'm gonna go like Joey Chestnut style and just like eating competition.
Okay, now this question may be even better. What sport would you play that you would absolutely suck in, like the worst?
I have an irrational fear of frisbees. So anything like frisbee related, like if it's like brawl for just throwing a frisbee, there's a game in you might know this with your parents being in Rochester, a game called Can Jam,
Yep,
which is actually started, Can Jam, which actually
yep.
started in Buffalo. I dread playing Can Jam at any sort of function because I hate frisbees. So like that's what I would suck at.
Wow, ultimate frisbee. I love that. I do love that game. I do know about Can Jam.
Yeah.
Okay, so last one here. Hamburgers or tacos?
Tacos all the time. Because tacos, you can do different variations. You can have breakfast tacos, fish tacos, all different tacos. So yeah, tacos.
I love it. Now, is there anything else that you would like to talk about as far as your job goes, the function, or any other advice you would like to give, or anything else you would like to say on my podcast before we conclude?
And, something that we kind of didn't really talk about too much, and I'm going to briefly talk about it, is being on the Packers radio network. I'm the first female to ever be a part of the Packers radio network.
Yeah.
So, doing the halftime and the post game report was the most intimidating thing that I've ever done in my career. Not only is something that I hadn't done prior, obviously I love football, I love sports, so that wasn't an issue, but it was a completely different ball game than what I've done in country radio. So my advice to anyone who's watching, who's listening, if it doesn't scare you, then it's not worth doing.
Mm.
It's kind of my motto when it comes to doing new things, and that terrified me. And I'm so glad I did it to be able to, kind of pave the way and, show women that like you can do this. I had a woman reach out to me on Twitter and was like, "This is so awesome that you're doing this. My daughter is going into sports journalism, and I sent her the news article about you doing this, and she was so excited to see a woman." In a position like this, showing that they can do it. For me, I love Erin Andrews so much, and she's obviously been like someone that I follow for a long time. And Clarissa Thompson, like all that, like, it's really cool to see them doing it. Tracy Wolfson is amazing too. So I think
Yes,
it's
he
really
is.
great. Yeah, like Lisa Byington, believe she's the first woman to be like a broadcaster with the Bucks. And I could be misspeaking, but Lisa's definitely a first with something with the Bucks, and
Yeah.
she's awesome too. So I think it's great for representation in general. I mean, someone, like you're, like anyone, like instead of just having white males in this industry who have predominantly been in this industry, it's great to see people of color being in there and women. So if you're in that position and you're thinking, well, I don't see someone who looks like me that's doing this, well, then be that person. Step up and be that person and show younger people or people around you that, this isn't just a game for one type of person, it's a game for everyone.
Absolutely. I love that you said that too, because that's the whole reason behind this podcast is really to talk about the behind the scenes of what goes on in people's jobs, right? Because like I said, people hear you from 3 to 7, but they don't really know what you have to do to prepare for that. They don't know all of what you do as far as the events to outside to the community. Another reason why is to give a voice to tell people stories. A lot of the times when we're in media, we are asking the questions. We are the ones that are asking questions to others. It's rare that we get to sit back and talk about and get questions asked to us about our lives and what things are going on. Lastly, I'll touch up on it. You're absolutely right about representation. Zora Stevenson, who's also based out of there in Milwaukee, is
Great.
somebody who I know of as well. Lisa Binghamton, as you said, I'm hoping one day I can have both of them on. And another name that came to mind when you said that was Kate Scott. She's a broadcaster for the Philadelphia 76ers. So to me, it's just great to see women in these positions. It's great for you to be the first one to kind of trailblaze that as the Packer halftime post-game show host. I would love to have your daughter on here at one point as well. That'd be great. That would be amazing to hear her story, hear her, because I'm sure her story is going to be much different from how your story was.
Yeah.
So, it's just great to just talk to people and get to know them because you don't know the people that you reach with something that may be in common with what you went through and maybe questions that they may garner for themselves that they want to ask you. So with that being said, I do appreciate you coming on to my podcast and really telling me about your story and telling me about yourself. It's been a pleasure. And obviously, when I do touch down to Milwaukee, which is sure, I'm going to have to hit you up.
Yeah, for sure. Let me know. Chris, you're awesome. You do such great research on all this and you do such a great job. So thank you for reaching out to me. I appreciate it.
No problem, Shanna. You take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, week, and enjoy Summerfest.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.